Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Trinity Talks. Today is episode 5, I think. No, why did I say that? It's episode 7, I think. And today's episode is going to be about what it's like volunteering, working at a library. I don't know. Yeah, I've been volunteering at my local library for 6 months now, since September of 2022. So it's been a while. I think like 7 months now, but yeah, I really like volunteering there. I started there because I had to do it for a scholarship. You need a certain amount of volunteer hours, and like that was the closest place to me is the library. And I'm really glad I started volunteering there because even though I do complain about it sometimes, I do really enjoy it, and I enjoy the people there. And yeah, so I thought I would talk about a little bit what it's like to actually like what I do and stuff. Like, I don't know. What else? I don't know. Just whatever comes to my mind. Also, if the audio is kind of weird, I'm at my grandma's house. I'm recording at my grandma's house, so it could be like more echoey. There's less stuff in this room. I don't know. I don't really care either. I'm recording this the day before it needs to be uploaded. It's Thursday. It needs to be uploaded tomorrow. I was gonna record it last night, but then I was too into the book I was reading, so yeah. But anyways, sorry there wasn't an episode last week. If you read my community tab, you know what went down. But yeah, basically, my cat passed away last week. It was not good, obviously, but she was like not old. I mean, like she was older. She was 12, so I don't know. But everything is okay now. She's, I guess, like in a better place or whatever. But yeah. Anyways, so we're going to talk about what it's like to work, volunteer, whatever, at a library. So I'll just kind of bring you through my day, I guess. I'm only there for 2 hours. I go Mondays and Fridays, and I'm there for 2 hours, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. They open at 10, so I go as soon as they open. But obviously, like, the workers have been there. Like, I think the earliest person gets there at 9 o'clock, so yeah. But obviously I don't have a key or anything. I'm a volunteer, but I did apply for the summer job and stuff, and I did get accepted. And on Saturday I go for training, and then I think I start the job like early June. So go me. Okay, so I get there. I leave my house 9:45. I get up at 6:45 in the morning, which yeah. I don't need to, but I like to shower beforehand and just have time to do something like read, do my makeup, do my hair, get dressed, drink a cup of coffee, whatever. But yeah, I like to have time to just do that stuff. So yeah, that's why I get up so early. And then I leave my house at 9:45, so I have 3 hours to myself. And then at 10 a.m., I'm basically there because we're like 15 minutes away. They usually don't open the doors right at 10, so yeah. Yeah, and then I go into the head librarian's office where the volunteer sign-in sheet is kept. So I just sign in, like it has my name on it, and then I just put the date and the time, and at the end I put what time I leave, and then did I take a lunch, and I don't because I'm only there for 2 hours. Then I grab my badge. It has my name. I have it pulled up right next to me. It says like Florida libraries. Obviously I'm not going to say like my county and stuff, but yeah, it just says Trinity Library Volunteer, so go me. So yeah, so usually the first thing I do is I will ask the head librarian or somebody, like, should I do the holds list, which is basically a list where people have put stuff on hold. Who would have thought? But I'll put I'm going to try and put pictures and videos on the screen to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But the holds list is books that people have put on hold. So say for example, I want this book, but it's not at the library at that moment. So I can put it on hold, and it will and it'll say like what place you are in. So say I'm in first place for a book. So after the person who has the book, I'll be the first person to get it because I have it on hold. So the holds list has the destination library. Oh, sorry, if you could hear that, that's the air conditioning cutting on. But anyways, so it has the destination library, which is usually the library that you're at. So my library, I can't say it, but my branch usually is the destination. Then it'll have the collection, which depends on like whatever like it is. So the picture I've pulled up on my screen it says collection AVID. So AVID stands for adult video, not like adult video, you know what I mean? But it's like adult DVDs. And I'll get more into like how the library is kind of categorized and stuff, but yeah. Then it's shelf location, and then that is what I'm looking for. That's what I need to find the actual item. So for this one, it says shelf location A DVD drama LIT. So A DVD tells me where it is, which is adult DVDs. Drama tells me what DVD section it's in, the drama section. LIT tells me where I need to look in the drama section. And the DVD is Little Women. I don't know. I've never seen it. Sorry, but yeah. So A DVD drama LIT. It'll always be the first 3 letters of the title or the author's name if it's a book. So yeah. Another example is a nonfiction DVD, so collection AVID, shelf location ADVD 932.01 EGY. So the DVD is called Egypt Unwrapped, so that's why it says EGY. So anything at a library that's nonfiction is going to be numbers, not letters. Fiction, which is fake stuff, will be letters. So like if you want to get a fiction book and the author's last name is, I don't know, can't think of any last names, Smith, SMI, that is where the book will be. So like John Smith wrote this book, you want to go find it, you go to the S category, SMI. So yeah, that's usually the first thing I do when I get to the library is the holds list, and it can range from like 17 pages or 5 pages to 17 pages. It can be really long and it can be really short. For the past couple times I've been going, the past few weeks, the adult holds have already been done because most libraries are set up where the adult section is separate from the children's section. So usually they'll tell me to go back to the children's area and see if the librarian back there has done the holds. And on the days that I go, they usually like save the holds list back there for me, so yeah. And then I'll just do the same thing in the kids section. Our library is set up where there's toddler, easy fiction, easy reader, nonfiction, juvenile, and then I think that's it. Oh, and then like Vox books, which are books that have like a speaker in them and that like play or that read. Okay, sorry if you could hear that. That was my phone. Anyways, and then there's like Caldecott, which is like I think it's an award like books can get, so we have like a section for that as well. But anyways, so after I do the holds list, I try to stay in the kids area. Who is texting me? Stop. Anyways, I try to stay in the kids area because I like it back there. It's quiet. Usually there's not a lot of people back there because it's the morning time. Most kids are at school, and if it is kids, it's like younger kids who usually have some, like their parents are with them. It's self-control. They're quiet. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the holds list, and then I will move on to something else. So the example I have right now is the holds list book called Lola Binko Treasure Hunter. So sometimes when you look on the holds list, there will be 2 or more copies of a book, and you're like, how am I supposed to know which copy I'm supposed to get? Because it does matter. If you get the wrong copy, they'll be like, why'd you bring this up here? That's not actually on the holds list, but it is. It's just the wrong copy. So you have to look inside of the book, and it's the item ID number. It's a long number. It's like, I don't even know, over 10 characters, I think. But you just have to look at the last 4 digits. So for this one, the last 4 digits is 9234. So I open the book. It's like on the first page of the book. I open it. I didn't take a picture of that, but I'll like insert one of a different book if I can remember. And I just see which one has the same like item ID number, and that's the book I get. So I always have to check the item ID number just to make sure it's right, because sometimes it's been wrong. So yeah, I always have to make sure of that. So that's really it for the holds list. I have to bring the books up to the front and put them in the bucket that says holds. And then I go back to the kids area and ask if there's anything I can do. So I was there Monday, and they have this new list for like, you've done your your first task, like what can you do, and then you can choose from this list. But that's new, so I'm not really going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about shelving, because that's a big part of actually being at the library is shelving. Shelving is putting the books on the shelf. Who would have thought? It's really boring. I hate it. Our library doesn't have AC right now, so it's god awful because I live in Florida. So shelving, there's a shelf. I'll like insert a video, but there's a shelf of books. Not a shelf, it's like a cart, like a rolling cart of books, and those are the books that people have turned in and checked in or like brought back to the library, but they haven't been put on a shelf yet. So you have to take them, put them all on the shelf. Sometimes though, the books don't want to fit on the shelf because there are like too many books. So then you have to bring it back to the cart, and it's very infuriating when it doesn't actually work. So yeah. Another thing about the shelves is some authors will actually have their own section at the library if they have a lot of books. So this guy, I've got beef with him. His name is James Patterson. This guy has written so many books. And I'm a short person. I'm like 5'2", 5'3" maybe. And I can barely reach the top of the shelf. Where this guy has like 30 books, and I have to like put the right one in the right spot or pick the right one out of the... It's awful. So James Patterson is one of them. I can't think of any other authors right now. God, I don't know. There's more, but he's the only one I can think of right now. But yeah, so if you don't see an author on a shelf, make sure to always look up, because usually they have their own area at the top if they have a lot of books. Like James freaking Patterson, I don't even want to know how many books that man has written. So yeah. Next thing is, so I don't know. What should I talk about? Okay, I think I'm going to talk about my favorite thing I like to do at the library and my least favorite thing. So my least favorite thing, if you can tell, is shelving. And my favorite thing is being in the kids area. I like to do it because it's really quiet, and I really like the librarian back there. I don't want to say her name, but she's really nice. Yeah. And I'm not like a people person, which is one reason I kind of didn't want to volunteer here in the first place, because I was like, I don't want to volunteer anywhere where I have to talk to people, because I don't like to talk to people. But you really don't. Like, the only people I really talk to are the librarians, the workers, because again, not a lot of people are back there. Not a lot of people ask me anything. Like, I don't know. Like, I have a badge and stuff, but I don't think people really pay attention to me. So, yeah. But sometimes they do and ask me like a couple questions, but sometimes I don't even know the answer to their questions, so I have to like direct them to somebody else. But yeah, so on Monday, I chose something from that list that I mentioned, and I chose the DVDs. So the DVDs, they get kind of messed up, and especially in the kids area, because kids. So these DVDs are like I don't know, what am I trying to say? They're alphabetically organized, so A is at the top, or like the numbers are at the top. So like 101 Dalmatians would be first, you know? And then what's a show or a movie starts with A? Animaniacs. Yeah, that would be next. So you know what I mean? Like alphabetically organized on these like, oh, I don't know what they're called, but like rotating shelves, like you can spin them around. You know what I mean. You've seen them at the store. But yeah, so on Monday I worked on that. I had to make sure that they were all from our library. So on the side of the book, or on the side of the book or DVD, it has the first 3 letters of your library branch, and obviously I want them all to be the correct branch. They all were, but sometimes if it's really busy and people just miss that it's the wrong branch, it gets put on our shelves and then it's a mess. But I'll get into like missing stuff like that later. But yeah, so on Monday I had to go make sure that they were all locked, which means that they weren't able to be opened. There's like a lock symbol on them if they're locked, and if they're unlocked, it's green and it has an unlock symbol. So when they're in the library, they're supposed to be locked so nobody can take the DVD out without the case, you know what I mean? But when you check it out, they will unlock it for you. It's like a card swiper, basically. It's magnets, that's how it's locked. And unlocked, they like swipe it and then it's unlocked, whatever. So I had to make sure that they were all from the right library, or for the right library. they were all locked, and I had to make sure that they were in alphabetical order. So that's what I worked on Monday. That took me a good amount of time because there is a lot of those DVDs, but it was really mind-numbing and boring, but good at the same time. You know, like the time passes really fast when you're doing really boring, mind-numbing tasks. Yeah. So yeah. And then I started working on the picture books and figuring out if they had any rips or anything in them, so they can get fixed and stuff. And just making sure to do other stuff like that, like just like boring stuff like that, I guess you'd call it. I don't think it's boring to me, but I see how somebody would think it's boring. Well, I think some things are boring, don't get me wrong. Another thing I do is weeding, which is like, I get a list of books from the children's librarian, if I'm working in the children's area, obviously, and it'll have books that are weeded. Usually is books that have not been circulated, which means checked out, in a long time. So like we're talking like before 2016, because obviously if books haven't been checked out since then, you want to make more room for books on the shelves, especially in the kids area, because those books are so thin and stuff, because you know they're for kids, but there's so many of them. So yeah, but some books, like even if they haven't been checked out in a long time, they still want to keep them on the shelf. So when you weed books, you want to pull all the books that are on the list, pull them off the shelf, and then the librarian will go through them and say, oh, well, Corduroy hasn't been checked out since like 2018, but Corduroy is Corduroy. If you've never heard of Corduroy, that's your problem, but basically it's a popular book. So they might want to keep that on the shelf even though it hasn't been checked out. So that's like their job and stuff. My job is to just do what the list says. Another list I work with is the missing list, which is books that have gone missing. Who would have thought? Books that have gone missing or are lost. I guess it's the same thing. But there's basically these tags in the back of books, and I'll try to put a picture up if I can remember. They're called RFID tags. It's like radio frequency identification. Yeah, identification. Yeah. And that's how library books are checked out, I guess. I'm just saying, like, for my library, but most, I guess, because technology and whatever. So they don't really scan the books anymore. There is a barcode inside the books, but they don't scan those. They use the RFID thingy, and it's basically like a scale. You just put the books on top of it, and then it'll, like, the RFID tag will say, oh, this is this book, this is that book, you know? I don't know how it works. I'm not, like, a scientist. But yeah, that's how that works. And then sometimes the RFID tag gets broken and people don't realize. So if you've ever been to a library and you take a book out, the thingy will beep, like the not metal detector, but like a metal detector. It will beep if you have not checked the book out, because the RFID will say that it's supposed to be in the library and you're trying to take it out. Anyways, so sometimes the RFID tag gets broken and people don't realize, and obviously if it's broken and you take it out of the library, it's not going to beep, because obviously. So that's what the missing books are. People, like, the tags are broken, or I don't know, they're actually missing. People have, like, not brought them back, or sometimes they're, like, shoved behind the, like, other books and stuff. So that's what the missing and lost list is. It's books that have usually broken RFID tags, and that's why they can't be found. And so the missing list, you obviously want to find all the books on the missing list, but you usually don't. You only find a couple because they're missing. And usually once they've done the missing list like 2 or 3 times, the book will be marked officially as, like, missing. We can't find it. So yeah, that's that. So shelving, weeding, holds list, missing list. What else do? I do other stuff. A couple weeks ago, I had to do the prize board for the summer program. So the kids have a summer program thing that they can do, and I don't know how it works, but every so often after you do one of their challenges, you get to come to the library and pick out something from the prize board, which is what I had to work on. Basically, I just had to, like, print and cut out pictures and put them on this board of the prizes. Like, there's, like, slap bracelets, slinkies, slime, stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, there's something else I want to talk about. Oh, how's the library organized? Because my friend asked me this a lot, so I thought I would answer that, especially just for them. So basically, my library, and I'm just gonna talk about mine. I think all libraries are like this, but this is the only one I go to, so yeah. So this one is adult have their own area. Adult has their own area. They recently just moved the young adult from the kids area to the adult area, which young adult books, they teeter, I don't know, they toe the line between adult and juvenile, because some books that I read, I feel like they would fall more towards adult, but some books I read, they fall more towards like middle grade, but they're all classified as YA. But they wanted more room in the kids area, which I understand, but now I have to go in the adult area when I want to pick out a book, which is gross. But yeah, so the adult area has the adult fiction, and then there's a different section for adult nonfiction. Then there's adult DVDs, and CDs. Well, actually, our CDs just they took them away. Nobody was checking them out, so all the libraries decided to send all their CDs to the main branch, which is, for me, it's downtown. So now all the CDs will be downtown, and then the main branch is going to figure out what to do with those. So yeah. But yeah, and then the adult, what are they called? Audiobooks are also like in their own separate section. And then, like I said, recently they moved the young adult books into the adult section. So the young adult, they still have their own section, but it's where the adult books are. So young adult books, young adult graphic novels, young adults DVDs, and audiobooks as well. So yeah, and nonfiction, of course. And then in the kids area, there is I already mentioned this, but the easy reader, which is I don't know, I have a picture of it, well, actually I don't, but I'll take a picture of it. These are like books, they're like picture books, but not like picture books, I don't know how to word it, but one book I just read with one of my nieces is called like The True Story of Balto, which is a true story about a dog. So they're like the easy reader, they have different levels. So like the one we read last night was level 3. So they have like bigger words and stuff. That's what the easy reader books are. They're like, you read them. You actually like read them and they tell a story and stuff. Picture books are more simple, less like no compound words, stuff like that. Like little kids can read them. And then there's the toddler section, which usually the parents read to the toddlers, but yeah. That's like Sesame Street, whatever, those books. Cat in the Hat, we have some with picture books, but some also with the easy readers, so yeah. And then there's juvenile, which is the biggest section in the kids area. It's the juvenile books, so like Harry Potter, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, what did that guy write? Oh, what did he write? Percy Jackson? Isn't that a book? I think, I don't know. Dogman? I'm a Dogman fan. I didn't know Dogman was a thing. I've never heard of it. But me and my oldest niece, we're going through the series. We're reading it. It's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of funny. So I'm invested in Dogman. It's the same guy who wrote Captain Underpants, which I never read, which I don't want to read either. So yeah. But that's the juvenile section, and then all the juvenile nonfiction books are with the easy nonfiction books too. So easy is E, which is just for like the younger kids. So even if it's like a bigger nonfiction book, they're all going to be in the same section in the kids area. So that's how my library is set up. And then there's different abbreviations for things. I'm going to try and see if I can remember them all. So NF is nonfiction. So if it's ANF, it's adult nonfiction. If it's AFIC, it's adult fiction. I don't know. YANF, young adult nonfiction. YAFIC, young adult fiction. So stuff like that. And then the easy books are EFIC, easy fiction, and then JFIC, juvenile fiction. So or JGN juvenile graphic novel, AGN adult graphic novel, YGN young adult graphic novel. You know what I mean? So those are the abbreviations. I try and remember them all. Sometimes I forget them. But yeah. Another thing I want to say that I do is shifting. We don't do that a lot, but basically when all the young adult books were moved to the adult section, obviously they had to make room for those, and that's what's called shifting. So first they weeded and got all the books that hadn't really been checked out off the shelves. Shifting is going backwards or forwards, moving the books. So we move them backwards, I guess, or you can call it forwards, depending on what way you're looking at it. You take books from one shelf, put them on this shelf. You go all the way back. So at the end, you have a empty shelf, and that's where all the young adult books went. And that was something I did for like the whole 2 hours I was there a couple months ago, because it does take a long time, because you're picking up these books, moving all the way to the front or all the way to the back, you know? But yeah, that's like another mind-numbing task. So yeah. And then there was something else I wanted to say that I do, but I forgot. I forgot. Oh, I do the new books. So I forgot to mention this as well, but the new section is at the front of my library, at least. The adult new section, and then the juvenile new section, which is new books. Not necessarily new books that have just been published, but books that are just new to our library, like we just got them. So that'll be in the new section, and it's at the front to kind of like draw people there to say, hey, look, we're new, you know? But yeah, so after every couple months, a book is not considered new anymore. So a couple weeks ago, I had to go through the books and figure out which ones were not considered new. And they gave me like a piece of paper that said like any fiction book from December or before, take it off. Any nonfiction book from November or before, take it off, you know? So I had to go through, open it up, see what the little thing is. And they just have the date and the month, or the month and the year. So like 5/22 is May of 2022, you know what I mean? So I had to do that. I do that sometimes, and then there's on the side of the book, there's a sticker. It's like a bright yellow sticker that says new. So you have to peel that off and then use some rubbing alcohol to get all the residue off. So I did that as well. So that's basically what I do at the library. Yeah, and that's like, I talked about my favorite thing as well to do, which is just being in the kids area. I really like being back there. Everyone back there is really nice. It's just the two girl librarians, the head of the children's librarians, or the head children's librarian, and then another librarian. So they're all really nice to me and everything, and I think they like me, and I did get the job, so I'm really excited. I go for training, like I said, on Saturday. I don't know what training will entail. I think this is just about actually having a job, because technically with the summer program, you're working for the county, which means that you have to, I don't know, they said in the like letter that they sent, is it's gonna be mainly about like just like boring stuff. Nothing actually, it's not specifically about working at the library training, but yeah, and it should start early June, like, because it has to coincide with the end of the school year, which ends next week. Also, I graduate next week. Like, what? I graduate Wednesday. Like, you're hearing this on Friday. In like 4 days, or 5, 6, I don't know, whatever. I graduate on Wednesday. What the heck? Also, there might not be an episode next Friday because I might be in New Orleans, because that's where I think I'm gonna go for my trip that my grandma is gonna take me and my family on. I have to choose somewhere to go, and I think we're gonna go to New Orleans because it's like a 3-hour drive away from where we live in Florida. So yeah, that's crazy. Literally insane. I don't know how we got to talking about graduation from working at the library, but yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Get a real job. Hopefully I get my license soon. Go to New Orleans, you know, fun stuff. But yeah. So next week is, I don't know, what is next week? Next week is, if I do upload an episode next week, it's going to be May 26th, which is actually insane. That'll be the last Friday of May, which feels literally crazy. So next week's episode will probably be I actually don't know. I actually have no idea. So, yeah, I probably shouldn't, say that because I have no idea. But I probably won't have an episode next week unless I can record it, because I usually record on Wednesdays and I'm graduating on Wednesday, so, I'm kind of going to be busy. Tomorrow, though, Friday, when this episode's coming out, I'm going to have such a busy day. I have to go to the library for 2 hours, and then I'm coming home and baking my brother cake pops because his birthday is Saturday. And then I have a dinner to go to for school. And then Saturday, I have training from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I can't actually make the cake pops then because, yeah, I don't know. I was going to make them Friday night, but I forgot about the dinner. It's just, I don't know. This week has been kind of stressful. I had to go for fingerprinting on Tuesday because, again, job and stuff. So that was crazy. And I couldn't, the fingerprint stuff wasn't working. We had to do it, digitally. So, yeah, I don't know. The guy, didn't even know what he was doing. It was a mess. But, anyways, it got done. And I hope training is the last thing we have to do because this is becoming a bit much. But, yeah. And then the next week after the 26th is June 2nd, which will be what books I read in May, which I've read actually a lot of books this month. They've been very heavy, so be prepared for that episode. Oh my god, I've literally just thought of a book I read this month. What the hell? I'm so sorry, but what the actual hell? It was insane. Literally delusional. Who wrote the book? I think he needs a psychiatric evaluation because what? And I kept reading it. So maybe I need one too. I don't know. And then the next week, so June 2nd, June 9th, that's going to be 18 books for 18 years. So sorry, 2 weeks in a row about books. Well, actually 3 if you count this one. But I turned 18 on June 12th, so this episode is going to come out June 9th. And I'm going to talk about 18 books for my 18 years of life. I don't know actually what books I'm going to talk about, but yeah. But that's it. I don't know. Sorry. I tried to give you a little schedule, but probably don't expect an episode this week, but I'll still post on my community tab on YouTube and stuff. I don't really know the best way to notify people who actually just listen to the podcast because I have more viewers on YouTube. The video has more views than plays on Spotify and whatever else. But yeah, if you want any updates, just subscribe to the YouTube channel because I try and post on the community tab and everything. So yeah, by the time you're listening to this, I will be getting ready to go to the library tomorrow. Hopefully I do something fun tomorrow. But yeah, I will see you guys. Oh my god, it's been 32 minutes. I was supposed to be taking a nap, but I decided to record this, so you're welcome. But I will see you guys, I don't know. When did I say? I don't know. I'll see you June 2nd, probably, unless I see you next Friday, but most likely not. Anyways, I love you. Goodbye.